Hello everyone and welcome to another quick episode of Aurogiri Pro Tips. I was just doing some islands and I came across something I need to make a pro tip about. So I'm zooming in to my character, but more importantly to Shinji Tatsumi. So I'm going to give everyone about 10 seconds to figure out what's wrong with this picture. So I'm not shaming Shinji or anything, but I'm going to teach an important lesson. The weapon he is holding is the Gekko Oborodori. The Gekko Oborodori is a level 117 staff. It can come anywhere from like 114 to 117, something like that. I don't really care about it unless it's 117. And when it comes to building up weapons that you identify, you find the one that's at the highest possible level. That staff being 117, and then you can use like the 114s and lesser level versions to smelt it up. But the pro tip I'd like to share is don't use a weapon that is not its full potential. Now, in earlier areas like Kyoto and like Sekigahara, Kaga, you don't really care that much because those weapons don't mean so much now that the game is expanded. But now that we're like at the islands and Oshu and the moon and like Oshu depths, etc., hopefully by now we've gathered some semblance of the wiki and we can look up the weapons to come because we've got like months at a time to wait for updates. And, you know, there's no 115 weapon that you can identify ever. The only 115 weapons are the Dragon Arcs and the Gargoyle weapons. You have to craft those. After those, the next identifiable weapons are 115, or no, are the 116s and the 117s. The 117s are the green looking weapons, and the 117s are the special moon weapons. So just a quick demonstration. I should have one of each of the spears. So like right here, you know, Dragon Arcs 115, Gargoyles 115. So if I go to my spears right here, so we've got the Gekko Ranmeka. This is a 117 spear, but I'm not going to use it because it's only level 116. At this point, it's just a material. And then this one, the Moto Planet Piercer, is a 116 spear. It's the green thing I'm holding in the picture. And that is the max level spear. Grade 100, great. You throw skill cards on it, find like 12 other spears, doesn't matter what level they are, and you smelt it up to 100. You know, it's all just an identification game until you get one that's the maximum level, max potential. Because with identified weapons, it's just, you know, you try and try and try again till you get ones that like 100 grade, max, you know, skills on it, etc., etc. So you don't want to fall into that club where, you know, you don't want to build up a weapon to 100 only to find out it's a low roll weapon. Back, like, let's take for example the 105 weapons, so Hio, Tango, Ichimoji, Sarai, all the stuff from Edo. Let's say you got impatient and you built up a level 100 Ichimoji Sarai because you could hold it at the time. Yes, it's going to be better than your lightsaber or your 7-star or whatever, but when you get that thing to 100 and then you get another, like a 105 version to 100, you will notice that there is a 3,000 attack difference between those weapons. So, you know, it's not good to just build one up to have it just because. Like, if you do it just to have one, well, you know, you're probably going to end up making another one, and you're just wasting buttons and, well, not artisans, but you're going to waste buttons and skill cards and all that stuff on a subpar weapon. You know, this is my public service announcement. Aurogiri Pro Tips: don't build up a weapon unless it's the max level version, because like 3,000 attack is huge. Attack is the biggest, best stat in the game, and you don't want to like gimp yourself by building up a low roll weapon. Some may say, well, it's just a staff, who cares? Well, you know, 3,000 attack on a staff. Like, no, those were the margins for a 105 weapon. This is a 117 weapon we're talking about. Things that are as strong, things that have more base attack than a gargoyle or a dragon arc weapon. You know, they are like 1,000, 2,000 points shy of the Lucifer weapon and the Tenryu spear, or Tenryu dragon arc weapon, I should say. So, you know, like, these are very powerful weapons. So that 3,000 margin I said before is probably a 5,000 margin when it comes to these weapons. So, you know, I don't want you guys to build up a weapon and just see it go limp, you know, like it's not going to measure up to your next buddy's friend, like to your peers in that class, let's say. And for a staff, somebody say, well, it's just a staff, who cares? I just wanted a better one. It was better than my Schwartz Cruise. Well, you know, you should have, like, you know, if it loses 4,000 attack, that's the difference between your Invigorate being a 34 and being a 38, let's say. And that's huge. That's huge. Those other extra numbers build up, build up, build up. I love you too, Farrell. So, you know, and if you want to show your love for me, don't build up a weapon unless it's max leveled. So that's Aurogiri Pro Tips. Just saw this, had to do it. Not shaming Shinji or anything. I'm not shaming anyone when I make these videos where I see something and I point it out. It's just, you know, you're my inspiration for it, so I'm going to talk about you. So, you know, maybe it's all I'm saying. Not shaming, just saying, just don't do it. You know, it's the same thing as not using a band-aid on a weapon. Or on a 105 mag, it's like not using a button. It's just a show. It gives off that bad aura, like you just don't care. And then the next minute later, you're complaining. It's like, why did my weapon break? Why did I break my slot? What the? It's like, you know. It's just, it shows that you don't care. It gives off that aura where it's like, man, I don't care if I lose extra attack. I just want it. Like, you know, it's just, it doesn't give off. And it gimps your damage, your DPS, your output eventually, and it's just not good, you know? Anyway, it's just my pro tip. I don't really know how to end it. I just saw this and I'm like, oh, well, damn. I gotta talk about this. So just do me a favor, do your research, and, like, you know, I think I have a Rose Maiden that I got to 100 that is level 80, but they're supposed to be level 82. So how do you know what's the max level? Ask Mexican. So if you go to the Wikipedia, you know, if you go to the wiki, you can click at an archetype. Okay, I stuttered for a second there. But like when you go to the wiki, let's say you're a spear user, you type in spear and you go to the page, and then there'll be a thing. You scroll down under the description, there'll be a little box that says expand. You click the expand box, and it shows you every spear in the game, or well, almost all of them, like all the ones that are in PS4 anyway. And then as you scroll down, it shows you like, oh, this is a level 60, 62, 65, 73, 78, you know, etc., etc. And then it shows you like 82. So just for example, I'm going to open up my spears because I have a lot of Rose Maidens, right? So this is the wrong menu. So let me go equip something. Spurs. Name. Okay. So I have a lot of Gay Valga. So this Gay Valga is 108. Or 106, right? It's a 106 spear. So I go to the next one. This one is 102. That is a 4-level difference. So let's look at the difference between them. This one is max level, grade 100. So 55,000, or no, 5,500 is its max attack. If we look at the one that's grade 96, but is 102, it's 4260. It's trash. This one here, it's 101, even lower, 4,000 attack. That is 1,500 attack lower. It's trash. And then when if I were to smelt this up to 100, which I wouldn't, either of them, because they're just materials for the Severance, but you know, if I were to build this up and then build up the other one, they would have like 5,000 difference in attack, and attack is like everything in this game. This one, again, you know, exactly, Hunter. It's crazy. So this one right here, 105 weapon. How much difference is that? About 400 attack. 400 is huge. Huge. Especially when you factor in that when you get a weapon to plus 100, it will add 10% to your overall attack when equipped. So like you can see it in my rhyme here, the last slot, it says +5 crit, +10 attack, 10% attack. So that's a huge number. But how would you know if one weapon you pick is max level? Okay, so I'm getting at that. So you can see here, right, that I have a lot of gay Valgas, right? I identify a lot of them because I need them for whatever. So if we look at all of them, you know, so like if you don't want to look up at the wiki or whatever, I mean, you should always consult the wiki before you do stuff, you know, make sure you just look it up at the wiki, and every weapon they show you on the wiki will always show their maximum level. It will never show you the lowest roll weapon. What if you got 2 Hyotengus, one is grade 30 with Water Dragon 7, and another is grade 80 with rank 1, 2, and 3 skills? Which would I pick? Now, Hogger, in that instance, if its grade is 30, you can't actually get its grade to 100 using the grade ups on their own. I think you can only do that if you're in the 50 range, because it's 6 times 12, or no, 6, there's 9 smelts you have to do. So you do 6 times 9, 6 times 9 is what, 54? Yeah, 54. So if your weapon is 46 grade, it will hit 100 if you grade up 6 every time. So if you have anything under 46 grade, at that point, it's a bad weapon unless it's a crafted weapon or something. But when it comes to identifying, when you have all your partners max, like I have since like April, everything comes out 97 to 100. Like the lowest thing you see here is a 77, and that's still salvageable. But like a good way to know which weapons are the best, right? So if it's an identifying weapon, an identified weapon, and you're trying to see, you know, which one is the max level, well, generally speaking, you're going to fail a couple smelts along the path, so you're going to identify at least 12 weapons. And as you identify 12 weapons, let's just look here. So, hello, Scooby. So I got a 104, a 106, a 106, a 106, a 105, 106, 105, 103, 102, 4, 6, 5, 6, 1, 2, 6. So on average, most of them were 6. And the lower ones are like 102, 103, 104. So just by process of elimination, I'm not going to touch anything that's not 106. If anything, I'm going to touch this one here with the most attack. And that's another thing to factor in too. You should just pick the one with the max attack. The one with the max attack is going to be the one with the highest grade and the highest attack. Like, you know, the highest level and the highest grade, I should say. So I have 2 gay Valgas. No, wait, what is that? That's a plus 20 gay Valga. I was about to say. I started plus 1. I was about, where's this 6 coming from? Messing me up. But yeah, you honestly, at that point, you just look at the one with the highest attack. And if you want to know what the highest level is, you just look it up on the wiki. Because whenever, and another thing to note is whenever like the higher levels talk about weapons, we're not going to talk about Echigo or anything. I'm not talking about Rose Maidens and 7 stars. Like the Ichimonji Sarais, like I was saying from Edo, they're all, we call them the 105 weapons. Why? Because that's the level they are. That's their max level. There's a whole bunch of them. They're a whole new weapon. We just call them the 105s. And then the next weapon up the food chain is the Satan weapons. You don't touch the Satan max, like you don't touch the basic Satan weapon. Stars are okay, but at this point you're better off just building a cross. So it goes, you know, the 105 weapons, then you have the crafted 105 weapons, then you have the cross, which is another crafted weapon, and then the next identifiable weapon after that is the gay Valgas and the Severance, the 106 weapons you call them, because they're 106 weapons. So it's the 105s, then the 106. But these things, you just use them to build up the Severance, which is always 108. There are no 110 weapons, 111 weapons. There are no 113s, 114s. When they say the 115s, they mean gargoyles and dragon arcs. The 116s are the holy crit weapons, and then the 117s are the fire and plus attack, plus attack. So yeah, always pick the ones with the highest level. And if you're in doubt, Mexican, just go to the wiki, look up your weapon, and it will show you what level they are. So if I want to just take a quick second to go to my computer just to demonstrate how quick it is to follow through with this, I have a link for the wiki on my hotbar, or my main page of Chrome. I go to search Onigiri Wiki. I'm going to type in spurs, so spears, spear, click it, it loads because internet, and then I scroll down. There's a little box that says equipment. It has name, rarity, level requirement, attack, innate effects, la 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 la. When it goes to location, you click expand, and then it brings up a list of everything. So you have a level 1 weapon, level 10, level 12, level 14, 33. You scroll down, you can see that the Rose Maiden is a level 82 spear, so you'd always use the level 82 version. And then you scroll down again, then you see that there's a Predator Spear. The Predator Spear is a level 96 weapon, so you only use a 96. Night Spear, level 100. Don't use a Wind Walnut Spear, I don't like those weapons. Now I think that's an error. Right here it's showing that the Wind Walnut Spear is a 102 weapon, but I was positive that Wind Walnut was a 103. That might be an error, but I'm not sure. I have to check later. Then you have the Hyotengu, 105 weapon. Then you have Gevalga, 106. Then you have for identifiable weapon. Now there are 110 weapons as well, except they're the in-between the hard gargoyle or the hard dragon arc weapon. You know, they're like the Charmeleons or the Ivysaurs or the War Turtles. You know, we only use Blastoise, Charizard, and Venusaur here. We don't mess with the little one. We aren't running ELite, for people that understand what I just said. You know, you don't want to build up those weapons. They're not fully matured yet. Then the 113s, they're identifiable, but they're the veteran weapons, and they're always going to be the same level. Then after that, you have the Dragon Arcs and Gargoyles. Then you have the Modo weapons, which are the 116s from the moon. And they're the 116s because they have, you know, Holy Element and crit and attack speed. Then you have the 117s, which are also from the moon, which have like Fire Element, negative rain, and extra attack on them. Pretty good weapons, really high attack. And then after that, everything is just a crafted weapon. There's no more like identifiable weapons after that point. So that's my little lesson here. Thanks for all who commented and asked questions. And you know, my little public service announcement is don't be like Shinji, you know. Don't build up a what's the word for that? I want to say a premature weapon, but a low level weapon. You always want to build up the strongest level. Even if you're level 103 and you want that 103 Ichimonji Sarai, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Don't pick the apple before it's ripe just because you're hungry. Well, if you're starving, go for it. But, you know, if you're not starving and no one's starving playing a video game, just wait, level up, get the next best thing, or else you're going to kick yourself in the boot, you know. So, that's my little lesson, and thanks for tuning in.